Oi, Welina. Oi, Welina. Hey, aloha mai, Ohana. Aloha mai. Aloha mai. Aloha mai. That's the east is there. East, yeah. Aloha mai. Hey, mai kai ki mai luna mai. Ya huna no yau. Hey, ya oe. Hey, ho imai. Hey, ho imai. Mai luna mai. O na mea huna no yau. O la hui e ho imai. E ho imai. E ho imai. Hoi mai ka iki mai luna mai. O na mea huna no yau. O na poe. He ho imai. He ho imai. He ho imai. Aloha mai ohana, aloha mai. Now, I guess tomorrow is the big day where the whole celebration or the ceremony of life is going to happen here on behalf of Mauna. Kalamaeau. I'm Hanalei first. I'm here with Pono Kealoha. He's over there videoing for us. But anyway, we wanted to stop by and say hello. We're going to take it a little further up the hill, so we can make sure we're up in the mountain to try to reason with them again about not building a 30-meter scope, especially on such sacred territory, sacred lands. So again, we won't be here tomorrow for the ceremonies, unless it's perhaps later. So we're going to go ahead and make our way up the mountain. Want to stop by and say hello, let you know that we're in motion, and it is our honor to be here with you. Mahalo a. Aloha mai. Oh, okay. Aloha, everybody. Again, I'm Hanalei Ferguson. I'm with the Temple of Lona. Anyway, we are now here, Pono and myself, Pono Kealoha, who's doing the video work. We're up here at the, I think it's about the 9,000 foot level. This is the visitor center on the summit of, on the way up to the summit of Mauna Kea. This is where people stop to acclimate. This is also where we have a lele, another lele back here that we actually have three. One down at Pu'uhuluhulu, which is where we started with, and then we have this one here, and then we have a lele up on, or a au way up on the summit. But we did that so, because KUPUNA who want to come up sometimes can't go all the way. So we wanted to give them different levels in which they could participate as we pray for the sacredness of the mountain, yeah? So I guess this is a good time we can talk about this. It's rather troubling to think that this project that they're working on, which is a 30-meter telescope, is going to be put on one of the most sacred spots on Earth, which is Mauna Wakea. And so this is kind of unusual because there's going to be this is a multinational big conglomeration of scientists and schools and big money that's coming up here to put this scope up here. It's the size of Aloha Stadium. It's 30 meters. Anyway, this has always been the realm of Keakua. This is the realm of the gods. This is where man is not supposed to be. It's only for times of when you're doing prayers and perhaps you're going to do as querying and stuff like that. But it's not made to be inhabited and occupied by any one thing. That's how sacred it is. So we've been fighting for Mauna Kea for many, many years, and we just get trampled on continuously. But there has to be a point of stoppage. There has to be a point where this stuff comes to a more conclusive, comes out in a better manner than it has in the past. We've always stood for the sacredness of the mountain, and so we're going to continue to do so. So tomorrow, I understand there's going to be a group of people led by Pua Case and some of her gang that are going to be down at Pu'uhuluhulu, which is down on the bottom where we started from. And a big prayer vigil is going to go on, all about the sacredness of this mountain. And I believe it's even coordinated with several cities in the mainland. And I think a couple of other countries are also involved in it. So anyway, it's a very special time. It's very interesting because as time goes on, we graduate and we educate ourselves. And in that educational spot, we've come to really understand it deeply, that truly there is no treaty of annexation in Hawaii. There is none. And as much as you can try to look for it and pretend that there just is not. And if there's anything to the contrary, somebody produce it. And so, see, we have this problem where this is considered ceded lands, but let's go back to understand what those ceded lands are. If there was such a thing as ceded lands, they are the stolen lands of the Hawaiian Kingdom that is supposedly being held in trust. However, here's the double whammy. It can't be ceded because there was no treaty of cession. So ceded lands comes from a treaty of cession, which there is none. And now that we really comprehend that isn't true, in fact, what we've always been talking about it, but finding the documentation and necessary things to hold that strong, to stand it up strong, has been very slow. Well, not slow, actually, we've been moving pretty fast. It's been coming together. And now it's really got to a point where I believe we're up at the top of the ridge and the snowball is just starting to fall down. And so what I'm going to be doing here is there's two things I'm doing, okay? Here's the best part. Here's the one that we're really doing. My good friend and partner, Michael Kumakai Lee, who is a Papakilohoku, or a starman, is also going to be on Haleakala tomorrow on the 7th. The same time, they're going to be breaking ground up here for the 30-meter scope. And he and I got together on the phone and we were talking about it. We're going, hey, you know, last time we were up in Haleakala together, we looked at the Li'i rainbow that goes from the side of Haleakala over to Mauna Kea. And I thought, I called him over and said, hey, you know what, Michael, you're going to be there. I'm going to be up on Mauna Kea doing stuff. Why don't we shoot the rainbow across? Wouldn't that be a wonderful way of making it understood how sacred this is? Anyway, that's my joy, that's my love. There's another part to this, though, that is also a reality that we must contend with. And that's the fact that they think that they can just do what they want to do, and it doesn't really matter what laws. And it's like, wait a minute. You can't tell me we're a system of laws and then you disobey it. And so I also plan to serve them judicial notice of trespass, that they're trespassing on Hawaiian Kingdom Government land. And along with that comes a demand for them to cease and desist and to vacate the premises. And then I also added in a little thing just for their own understanding, that the ramifications for failure to follow these instructions could end up in some very serious crimes, not only in the United States, under the legal term of fraudulent conveyance, but also under international laws, under the International Criminal Act of pillaging, which is to take somebody else's goods and give it to somebody else. No authority, which is what they're doing here, and somebody has to say something. And so we've centered it in so many different ways. I'm taking the opportunity to try to be on site there tomorrow during this ceremony to deliver my notice to them. You know, it's not about getting mad or anything like that. It's about, we no longer can pretend this is not real. We need to move forward. We need to move forward in a manner that's dignified, that's representative of our Queen. And so we really seek to be Puna. I didn't make this story up, so you know, all these things that are coming to pass, these are things that just come to be because that's how life is. And I'm just really happy myself that I'm here at this time to be a part of this. Again, I'm Honolulu Ferguson. I've done stuff up here on this mountain since I was a child. I actually come from Waimea, which is right across the mountain over there. And when I was younger, my dad used to work for Fish and Game. And we made all the hunter roads going around Mauna Kea. So I'm very familiar with this area, this altitude, the whole sacredness of it. I mean, this is like, talk about getting lit up. This is the time to get lit up. So anyway, I just want to say aloha. And we are certainly honored to be here. Okay, we're going to go over to the lele that's right over here and just say a little prayer over there. Come if you guys like. So this area is, this climate is called a subalpine as far as geology goes. And one of the things they've been doing up here, they've actually been, like this plant over here, this is actually a Maui silver sword, but they've been planting them over here for restoration purposes. So it's good to know that everything they do up here is not always bad. You know, they do some good things. The biggest problem we have is understanding whose it is. You know, And even more reason why we need to do things in a manner that is very pono. You know, when you're right, when you're absolutely right, there is no argument. So there should be no need to argue and feel like you have to, you know, dispute these matters. But it is a nice feeling to know that you're dead on right. So these trees right here, this is the maumani tree. It's not in the greatest shape, but this is some of the last standing maumani up here. And this tree, the little seed pod it makes, has the little orange seeds. And they are the sole source of nourishment for the palila bird, which is nationally endangered. This is good smelling wood too, boy. You make fireplace. Oh no. Welina, Welina, Aloha Yohana, Aloha mai, Aloha mai, Aloha mai. East is there. He hoi mai kaiki mai luna mai o na mea una noi au e ia oe e hoi mai e hoi mai e hoi mai hoi mai kaiki mai luna mai o na mea una noi au o la hui e hoi mai e hoi mai e hoi mai e hoi mai kaiki mai luna mai o na mea una noi au o na poe e hoi mai e hoi mai e hoi mai. Aloha again, ohana, aloha mai. Long time no see. So we just want to stop by and give our aloha at this ahu on our way up to the summit to do some very, very spiritual work. It's very nice to see you. Very nice to see you. Okay, aloha mai. That's why I wanted to be up here early, off the road, out of the way.
Okay. Well, he got to go down a little bit just to make sure I get the confirmation and then we go from there. Okay. I understand everything you say.
Yeah, it's a tough, you know,
It is
it's tough times.
It is.
I know he has no policing authority, and I know you actually have no policing authority up here.
Right.
This is actually deal on our ground.
Right.
And so I always take the time to alert them, let them know. I've already talked to Dylan, our enforcement, to let them know I'll be up here.
Oh, okay. Then
So-
as long as they know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the wishes, but they're not going to be complied with because I have things that I need to do here.
Okay.
And they're not in any way interfering with anybody else. It's stuff I do. No point explaining to everybody because nobody understands what I do. You know, it's like. But like I said, I'm with the Temple of Lono. I do these things all over the mountain. In fact, I'm the only guy who's ever been able to provide a map of sites where we actually do the different things. Yeah. But that's my gang.
Right.
There's other gangs that do stuff. You know, I don't own the mountain. You know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let him do what he gotta do and go get a confirmation, and that way I let you folks eat your dinner.
I appreciate
I'm gonna be out of your way. I'm gonna be over here after.
it.
Okay?
Mahalo.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
As soon when he come back, we'll try to figure out what's going on. Okay.
So just to
Mahalo.
make it real simple, I don't intend to move.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let them.
I don't
I'll
intend to
let
move. I don't intend to do anything other than what I do.
Them, okay. I'll
So,
let them know. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And I am out of the way, so there's no public interference or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll get out
Wow.
to you guys' air. Well, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you? My name is Brandon, by the way.
Brendan, I'm gonna hang first.
How's it, Willie?
Allow me.
How's it? How are you?
Thank you.
So what's happening?
Why my keys been slowed down?
What's happening? How you guys doing?
Accident.
How's it? What you guys doing in here? How's it? I'm Scotty. How's it?
I hang
How's
first.
it? How's it? Hank?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
hi, Pono. Just wondering what you guys doing inside here.
I'm doing some religious ceremonies.
Okay, and what's your religion?
I'm with the Temple of Lono.
Temple of Lono.
Yes, sir.
And what site is it here that you're
The entire summit is ours.
so the whole mountain?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
summit especially.
Okay, great then. You know, we will ask you guys to do.
No,
we ask you
we're
guys
gonna
to.
stay here.
We will ask you guys to relocate to the summit.
I know you would like that.
Yeah.
But I have to be here because of what's going on here. You guys are putting a piece of stuff on my temple. Come on, let's get here.
Well, we're also here to ask you guys to leave, and we will ask you guys to leave when it gets dark. But once it gets dark, I'm sure when you folks came in, you notice those antennas, those dish, they're gonna start working after it gets dark.
Okay.
And for your guys' safety, and then for the safety of the equipment, when it gets dark, we're gonna ask you guys to leave.
That's, I don't know what to say. Because
And then again, you guys can go any
because I
place
have a
else.
right to do my religious
I
ceremony.
understand that.
This
That's
is
why I'm
where I'm
asking.
gonna go.
That's why I'm asking you to go do your religious rights
And I
any place
tried to
else.
save you.
And being at the summit, you just mentioned the summit. I'm asking you guys to relocate to the summit.
So I'm glad that you think you're cute playing word games,
I'm not.
but it's not cute.
I'm not.
Here's
I'm
what
not
it
trying to be cute.
I'm going to be right here. I'm not in anybody's way. I'm not blocking anything. I'm not harassing anything. I am here to do my religious ceremony.
Again, and I'm explaining to you that
So-
we're worried for your safety and
Yeah,
also
thank you.
and also the safety of the equipment.
Well, what do you think's going to happen to the equipment?
Well, if it moves and you guys walking
What
around
do you
at
think it's going
night.
to blow away?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to be right here.
Okay, so
We're
we're
gonna
letting
be
you
right
guys
at
know
this location.
we're going to come back and if you guys still here, we may have to tow you guys' vehicle away at your guys' expense.
Well,
Just to let you guys know. Okay,
Just
you
let
guys
you
can.
know,
We
if
don't
you
want to
do,
interrupt,
then
and,
you'll be-
and we'll be back.
you'll be violating my religious rights.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We're
So,
not looking
we go-
to have
we go
a
for
problem.
Then we will come back. We let them finish what they need to do. So
Well,
I'll ask
well,
you guys to finish up what you guys doing, back up and leave.
here's
And
where
if you
you-
guys don't leave, we're gonna be back.
Here's where you don't
Thank you.
understand. My stuff is done on the other night. So what do you think you're going to wait for me to finish? Unless you want to stay up all night.
We go.
I mean, it's okay with me. Because I'll be here all night.
We will come back. Thank you.
Okay. Allah.
Turn on the motor. Hey, turn on the motor.
Okay, let's go. Yeah.
So when he was telling me it's because they're going to come in like a train, they actually have signs, spots. Are going. Somebody could have told me that last night. We could have avoided this whole problem. Instead of telling me, oh, we're just going to arrest you or we're going to tow your stuff. It's like, you know.
Okay, so you okay?
Yeah.
So
Here's the bottom line. And, you know, I'm not talking any mystery stuff. We know this is Hawaiian Kingdom. We know that the state doesn't have a treaty of cession. Okay? At least that's what we understand. Now, I'm working on my understandings. You're working on yours. And I respect that. And so, I was wondering, here's what I wanted to do. This is what this is all about. Not only because I actually was going to throw a rainbow from Anakala to over here.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you should see some of the stuff we did. Anyway, here's what it is. All this is a notice of trespass. That's all it is. You guys can look at it and say, you know, you're so full of shit. That's fine. I just want to make sure it's received.
Okay.
And my whole thing is that one of my things I'm concerned about is that there may be misinformation being given to the TNT. If they can see this and understand this is the position that we're taking, and they want to continue, I don't have any control of that stuff. I just want
But
the
they've
process
been
to be
given
served.
notice.
They've been
In fact,
given
the
notice.
Okay.
Yes.
Understand.
So will you do that?
Understand. So,
Okay,
so
so-
do you want me to just give this to everybody
Yes.
then? Okay.
If you would.
Okay.
And I'll take you out. Let me take two because I'm
Okay.
going to share it with some of the other guys.
Okay.
And, you know, for me, it's real simple. It's clean.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it as professionally as possible. What you guys are going to miss out on is that rainbow.
E aloha mai ohana. I'm Hanalei Ferguson from Nakupuna Moku, Keawe, here on the Big Island. So anyway, I wanted to speak a little bit about the incident that happened on Mauna Kea yesterday. As you folks may be aware, they were attempting to do a groundbreaking for the 30-meter telescope on the northern plateau of Mauna Kea. Now, for us as Hawaiians, we already know the sacredness of that mountain. We already know that that realm of which they have their telescopes is in the realm of Keakua. And it is so sacred that nobody's allowed up there unless you have specific religious practices that you're doing. And so this has been an ongoing battle continuously year after year after year after year. And what's happened is that, you know, these guys are so well financed that they can take any of our arguments and twist it around and spin it around and drag us and drag us and drag us through the courts. And unfortunately, money seems to talk louder than truth. And so anyway, here's the situation. The 30-meter telescope groundbreaking was supposed to be on October 7th, which was yesterday. And I think it was on the 5th of the month, there was a note put out by the Office of Mauna Kea Management that they anticipated that there was going to be a lot of protests. So what they had in mind to do is to block off the road up to the summit, starting 10 o'clock on the night of the 6th, to prevent people from being there and trying to prevent any protests being seen by those who are investing in this 30-meter scope. And so given that, we thought about it and we go, you know what? It's really important that they need to see and they need to hear from us directly. They need to be in understanding that our position that during the Hawaiian Kingdom and that you are trespassing is very important for them to know and acknowledge. So it's a process known as notice. And so anyway, so myself and Pono Kealoha, who's on my video journalist, who very happily came up to the Big Island to help me record this. And so what we did is that we thought, okay, if they're going to block off the road, then it's important to get there first. So we went up. We had reached the site at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we found the exact area where their ceremony was going to be. And we had shut up to do a bunch of religious stuff, as well as prepare ourselves for this groundbreaking. Now, it was very, very interesting because although we passed several DLNR people and Office of Mauna Kea Management Rangers, nobody said anything to us as we were coming in. It wasn't until a couple hours later that they sent representatives from the Office of Mauna Kea Management, the Rangers, to come and tell us that we were going to be arrested for being there. And I had to ask them, I said, exactly what are we being arrested for? I'm here doing religious practices. I am not impeding anybody. We're not doing any kind. There's nobody to be affected by what we're doing. And so this went round and round and round. In fact, 4 times in that evening of the 6th, we were told that we were going to be arrested and that a tow truck was going to come and tow us away regardless or not. And yet nobody, not the police, not DLNR, not anybody could tell me what I was going to get arrested for. Still to this day, I do not understand what they thought they could do as far as arresting me. I was on public property. I'm a religious practitioner that's well known on Mauna Kea. I'm also from the Temple of Lona, so I have a Kuleana up there. And so anyway, so later on in the evening, probably about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, after refusing to move and refusing or declining their invitation to move to another area, they thought it might be smart for them to bring a cultural practitioner in that may help me agree with them. So they brought in Wally Ishibashi, who was with Office of Mauna Kea Management, the KUPUNA organization, which is supposedly the elders who advise on Mauna Kea. Now, this is actually kind of welcome because I didn't know who could possibly come up and talk to me about these spiritual matters and have an understanding and a mutual respect. But Wali Ishibashi, because he has he actually has a genealogical tie to Poliahu, I thought that would be okay. So when he came in, he started to talk to us, and not only him, but also a policeman had come in who asked to come in by himself to talk to us, to see if we can find out what was going on. And apparently the man was very, very religious, and we talked and we talked and we talked about what I was doing and some of the wonders of the skies and where we were, the message of Keakua and all this kind of stuff. And then he stopped and he says, brother, I'm a very religious man, and I wanted to come here early to talk to you because I wanted to find out where your mind was at. And he says, and quite frankly, everything I see that's going on is absolutely pono. I can't see anything wrong. He said, but I'm not the low guy on the totem pole. And so they are planning an action on you. And yet even he couldn't tell me exactly what, because the bottom line is the Office of Mauna Kea Management does not have a policing authority on the mountain. Neither do the county police. They can come up and affect something if there is actual trouble that requires police intervention. But of course, we were not doing anything. We were out in the middle of the field, parked off the road, out of the way of everybody. So there was nothing that was going on there, although the threats kept on coming down. We were even told things like, just ridiculous things like, after dark, when the telescopes turn on, that Mauna Kea becomes the private domain of the University of Hawaii, which is like, excuse me? This is our mountain. I've told you, I've taken the time to come down to talk to you guys about this, about your rulemaking, because it will not affect me as a cultural and religious practitioner. Anyway, so Wally Ishibashi shows up and he talks to us, and he's talking to us about what we're doing, and he's very, very delighted actually that we're there. He's like, wow, you guys got in here before all this stuff. That is so pono. I'm so happy to see this. Although he, being under the employee of the University of Hawaii, he has to try to uphold part of their stuff. And so anyway, this went on until about 11 o'clock at night, and this is the 4th time that they were going to arrest us. And then he was going to get back to us. as to what the final stance is going to be. So to make a long story short, we spent a very, very, very cold night up on the mountain. And I mean, it was freezing cold. So it was uncomfortable. At the same time, it was one of the most beautiful nights because the moon was almost full. In fact, it was going to be full the next night, or the 7th. And so in between a little bit of rest, we go out and do a few prayers here and there. And so Wally Shibashi showed up about 5:30 in the morning to come and talk to us about what is the final line, what's going to happen. And he brought us the information that they are coming from the standpoint, they're bringing in the Sheriff's Department, DLNR, and that they're going to effect an arrest. In fact, they're going to bring up a tow truck and tow my truck away at a cost of $1,200 to me. And I explained to him, I said, you know, my truck is private property. You touch my truck, we're going to have another problem. But that being aside, you know, the objective there was not to run and have a conflict. The objective there was to try to communicate. And what was trying to be communicated is the fact that this 30-meter telescope is being put on Hawaiian Kingdom land without any authorization to utilize or convert that area for their use. Now, those of us who've been following this know that when they first did the telescopes, there was one. It was to be one telescope. We're now looking at 12 and we're coming up with the 13th. And this 13th one is the 30-meter telescope. It's the size of Aloha Stadium. And they want to put it on the Northern Plateau. That's 8 stories down and 12 stories high. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. But what's more troubling here is that with all the efforts and all the time we've taken to share the aloha, to share the information, it's simply disregarded. We're looked at as troublesome, but something that they're not really taking into very much consideration. And anyway, so again, one of the things I wanted to do, and when Wally came in the morning to tell me that they're going to bring in the sheriffs and the tow trucks are coming and everything else like that, and he really, you know, he said that Stephanie Nagata from the Office of Mauna Kea Management has asked them to hold off affecting any arrest or something like that until she came, because she wanted to have the opportunity to talk to me. Now, it's very nice because Stephanie and I are good friends. We have a mutual understanding with each other, though we don't agree with everything. There's no reason why we should have a dispute, or at least be angry at each other. And so I showed Wally. I says, Wally, I says, you know, part of this thing is this 30-meter scope is going to be blessed today, and it's very important that those people of the 30-meter scope be aware of what's going on in Hawaii and the fact that this is a trespass on Hawaiian Kingdom land. And I thought this was very important because the state of Hawaii has an interest in having this there because it's money for them. University has an interest in it because it's money for them. But I wanted to make sure that the people with the 30-meter, the investors of the 30-meter scope, understand the controversy and the depth of the controversy that's going on, especially that part that deals with the Hawaiian Kingdom, because the Hawaiian Kingdom is back on the rise. It is now it's going through the international courts. It's moving ahead very, very rapidly. We no longer can hide from this idea that this is an occupied territory, a military occupation, and the state is the puppet government they put in. And so, I told Wally, I says, you know, I intend to be able to approach this group while they're in there somewhere and give them this notice, because notice is the first thing that has to happen in any kind of lawsuit or anything like that. You have to at least notice the other party to give them an opportunity to reverse their directions or whatever they need to do to avoid a conflict. And so I shared with him the notice, and I'm going to read for you the notice that we put together. And I think that you'll agree that we tried our best to do this as cleanly as possible. And so here's the notice. It's 2 pages long. But I want to read it to you because I think we did a good job and we did it correctly. And so this notice says, the Hawaiian Kingdom and KUPUNA Moku Keawe, which is the island of Hawaii. This is the kupuna from the island of Hawaii, of which I've been entrusted as the spokesperson. And it says, a notice of trespass. You are hereby noticed that this property, located on the northern plateau of Mauna Kea, island of Hawaii, lawfully belongs to the Hawaiian Kingdom Government, and no permission has been granted by said government for its use or conversion. It is by presumption of fact that the Hawaiian Kingdom continues to exist, and there is no evidence of any lawful document or treaty of cession to the contrary. It is therefore the demand that you cease and desist and vacate the premises immediately. It continues on saying, the ramification for the failure to comply. Should you fail to comply with this notice and demand, know that you do so with complete knowledge of personal liabilities to yourselves and to your partner corporations. You may be personally liable for the fraudulent conversion, along with personal violations of international laws regarding pillage. Further note that any and all structures placed on said property is subject to confiscation without further financial compensation. And it says this action has been taken by KUPUNA Moku Keawe, and that all the information shall be transmitted to the acting Hawaiian Kingdom Government. Signed by myself, Hanalei Ferguson, KUPUNA Moku Keawe. And I also put my phone number down there, which is 808-938-9994, should anybody have a question and need to have clarification. You know, I was just looking at my paper, I realized I missed one of the 9s, but anyway. So with this impending problem, and with Stefan and Agata Glenn coming up to visit with me personally, we weighed it out and we thought to ourselves, you know, we've successfully maintained our position over the whole night without the arrest. And we've already been given information that they intend to, regardless of whatever laws may be violated, they were going to affect an arrest. And that they were going to tow my truck down to Hilo at a cost of $1,200, which they were going to pass on to me. And so, I'm not one of those who get intimidated by threats. However, I'm not unreasonable either. So one of the things that Wally explained to us when I kept on asking him, what is it that we're doing that is causing such a friction? This thing has not happened yet. This is 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. Nothing has come down yet. We're not doing anything. So he explained to me in a very rational way. And this is really important because all it takes is sharing information that is pertinent. Don't threaten me. Help me understand what it is you think that is conflicting to what you folks have in mind. So he was telling me, he says, one of the reasons why they want me to move is because the road that leads to the site is really a one-car road. And so two-way traffic is damn near impossible. And so he was telling me, he says, you know, part of the reason of this, he says that they actually have a map that they put out where they're going to come in like a train with about 7 vans and several trucks from the Office of Mauna Kea Management. And they're going to come in single file. And they were going to take the whole area. And each area had a sign for parking. And I happened to be in one of them. And I told him, I said, you know, Wally, why did somebody bring this to my attention last night instead of standing there threatening me with idle threats, not giving me an idea of what's going on? I says, now that I understand this, I have no problem actually moving out of the way. I just don't want to be bullied out. That is not my style. I said, but because you've been so reasonable. And I said, so Wally, I said, I want to show you what I'm going to be doing, what I had in mind to do anyway, which was to effect the notice. And so I gave him a copy of this. And Wally said that he was assigned to the protest that was going to be happening down at the bottom of Pu'uhulu'ulu, of which, by the way, there were like 500 people down there doing their chants, and eventually they came up to the top of the mountain. But anyway, he took this information back to the organizers of the 30-meter telescope and showed them the notice I gave. And apparently it caused quite a stir, because the night before, the night of the 6th, they actually had a big gala down in Hilo about the 30-meter telescope and how they were so proud of themselves for being able to work with the Hawaiian people. And of course, that is absolutely untrue. And so he told me, he came back and he told me, he says, when they seen that, they went into a panic. They were just shocked. A lot of them understood the ramifications of such an action, if in fact what I was speaking of is true, which I have no doubt that we are being very factual. And so we decided to ourselves, look, we've effected what we needed to do. They hadn't arrested us for 4 hours. They have a whole team of people, and truly they really did have a whole team of people and a tow truck coming to remove us. And so I said, you know, we're not losing anything by leaving this area right now, because it is a one road. And so quite frankly, I didn't want to be stuck in this whole train and being stuck through their whole ceremony, which I don't bless myself. And so we thought, okay, we'll go down. And so Wally had already arranged for, when we were going down, we seen Wally on the road, and we pulled over, and Wally was telling me, oh, brother, I got reassigned to you. And he says, I shared this with the 30-millimeter proponents, and they were quite taken by that, and that they were going to let me address that whole body at 11:30 when they had intentions of the groundbreaking. Well, again, the purpose there was not only to do my religious stuff and talk about the sacredness of the mountain, but to affect the notice, because we need to move this idea of Hawaii being an illegal occupation further down the road, and it cannot just be stuck in academia. And so it is incumbent upon all of us to take our part, our own Kuleana, and enact whatever we can do that is consistent with this idea of occupation, and that it has to end now. And so, very interestingly, Stephanie Nagata was right behind him. Like they had said, she had said that she wanted to be there. She didn't want me to be arrested. She wanted to have a chance to speak with me. And so we pulled her on the side, and she was very, very humbled. And she talked about what we were doing. I said, you know, Steffi, this is about getting the notice. I want to make sure that the 30-meter sponsors get this notice. It's very important, because that also makes them liable for what they do. And so I asked her if she would accept this notice. And so she read it, and she accepted the notice. And then she also said that she would take it upon herself to present this notice individually. I had 9 packages together, that she would take this notice and have it read at the site, at the ceremony. And that she gave me her personal word that she would do so. In fact, according to Wally Ishibashi, they agreed that they were going to film it, because they were not going to let my videographer, Pono Kealoha, in during that meet, although they would let me address the group. And so I thought, you know what, we've effected what we needed to do. Stephanie Nagata, now the head of the Office of Mauna Kea Management, has taken the responsibility of delivering this notice to the proponents of the 30-meter telescopes. And so we've really effected what we needed to do. And so we decided just to continue down the hill. And it was quite amusing in a way, because on the way down the hill, there must have been 20, 30 DLNR cars coming up, along with maybe 20 police vehicles coming up. That's all coming up to affect me, or to keep the protesters from coming up, along with the tow trucks. So they actually thought they were going to go and tow my truck. Now, I don't have any question I would have won that battle, but it would have taken a long time, and I need my truck. And so, quite honestly, we got out of there just in time. And that was also important too, because we didn't want something of bad taste, like an arrest, to affect the rest of the vigil that was going on down the mountain and the others that were coming up. And so we had made this agreement. We have this understanding. And I told him, I says, it is not necessary for me to be on the spot. If you have promised me that you will read this to the proponents of the 30-meter telescope, then my job has been affected, and I am comfortable with that. And so we went down the hill to meet with the rest of the fellas, with Pua Case and the rest of the groups that were gathering down at Pu'uhulu, which is down in the base of the mountain, down by the Saddle Road. So we had gone down there and was able to meet with everybody. There was like 500 people down there. This is on a Tuesday now. 500 people out there chanting and doing the prayers of the mountain and talking about the sacredness of the mountain. And one of the emphasis that was very predominant, which is very, very good, was that everybody kept on talking about behavior. Behavior in the realm of Keokua. It requires a humility and a mannerism, which I like to refer to as a mannerism of the Queen, that we hold ourselves dignified. And so that message was going all around the place. There were parties that were there that I was not familiar with, but that came from other islands that wanted to be part of this protest and demonstration. And so while we don't have any control over anybody else's stuff, it was important that we shared as much as we can about the sacredness of the mountain and what is proper behavior in the realm of heaven. And so we came down about 10 o'clock. We were very exhausted and still frozen, quite frankly, from the night before. And then we came home and we rested. And then in the evening, I kept on reading the posts and seeing the blogs and all this kind of stuff to see where everybody else's position was taking effect. And I'm very happy to say that it was done so cleanly. Every video footage that I seen was done professionally. It was done with grace. It was done with dignity. And yet it was very, very, very pa. I mean, they actually blocked the road. They blocked this caravan from coming in. And then when they finally figured out a way around the blockage, our people decided to walk the rest of the way in. Now that's another mile from where they were pushing everybody to do their protest to the actual site where their ceremony was. I don't know who the head gentleman was, the young man who was doing most of the speaking, but I have to say I would like to know him because he was very dignified and very cool. He was not going to relinquish his position. He was not going to let anybody double talk him like had been attempted like by Billy Kanoe and stuff like that. And so I'm so honored to be part of my people. And I'm so honored that they all conducted themselves in a manner that is with the dignity of the Queen. Yeah? So we've graduated a long, long way. What's really important here is that we cannot stop now. Yeah? I believe that the crest of the wave has already crested. And now it's Papahinalo time. It's time to ride the wave. And so it's very important that we continue our actions in whatever way that we may. And I just want to express to everybody, mahalo, mahalo anui loa. From the bottom of my heart, it is so wonderful to see our people taking a position that is not only righteous, but that it is calculative and it is done dignified. Okay. And so anyway, I'm going to close this off and tell you that it turned out very wonderfully. Nobody got arrested in this whole thing, and believe me, there were over 60 cops there and DNR people. They had been lined up on the hill. They were positioned at Puakaloa for mass arrests and stuff like that. And so I just want to tell everybody it was a very successful demonstration, very successful prayer vigil, and mahalo everybody for their participation. If anybody would like to contact me, I'm Hanalei Fergustrom. I'm the spokesperson for KUPUNA Moku Keawe. I'm also from the Temple of Lono. I can be contacted at area code 808-938-9994. And please feel free to contact me because information, the dissemination of information is so important. What we're doing now is we're trying to hone our information so it becomes very consistent. What we say is very, very consistent to eliminate some of the confusing factors with everybody going in 5 or 10 different directions. Even though we're all trying to do the same thing. The more consistent we can get, the more effective we will get. With this I say, aloha mai, aloha kea kua, mahalo a nui loa.
Here we are, man. Two Kuleana guys.
Activating. Already activating.
Hey, turn on the motor. Hey, turn on the motor. Oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Fisherman, tell story.
There's a time when the sea gets rough, but the fishes they just move with the sea.
What are you doing, Mr. Man? Every day I watch you move at lightning speed. What you gotta do is sit down, relax, act patiently like the fishes in the sea. You gotta hold on, you gotta hold on.
Cause fishermen say, big ship sailing on the ocean. Big ship sailing on the ocean. Big ship sailing on the ocean. Fishermen, tell the story again.
There's a time when the sea gets rough, but the fishes they just move with the sea. What are you doing, Mr. Man? Every day what you move in lightning speed. What you gotta do is sit down, relax, act patiently like the fishes in the sea. You gotta hold on, you gotta hold on.
Cause fishermen say, big ship sailing on the ocean. Big ship sailing on the ocean. Big ship sailing on the ocean.
And my daddy say,
What your daddy say?
and my daddy say,
What your daddy say?
he say, boy,
Say who?
he say, boy.
Say who?
He says, sailor, sailor, sailor boy, sail away.
Ship sailing on the ocean. Ship sailing on the ocean. Ship sailing on the ocean.
And my daddy say,
What your daddy say?
and my daddy say,
What he say?
he say, boy,
Boy, who?
he say, boy, he says, sailor, 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 sailor boy, oh, sail away.
Fishermen set sail. There's a time when the sea gets rough, but the fishes they just move with the sea.
What are you doing, modern man? Every day I watch you move at lightning speed. What you gotta do is sit down, relax, act patiently like the fishes in the sea. You gotta hold